This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us today. Topping our news today at noon, a quick court appearance this morning for a man accused of murdering his wife, wife's friend, and a pastor in Bradenton. Andres Avalos is facing 3 counts of first-degree murder. ABC 7's Ray Collins joins us live outside the Manatee County Courthouse with more on the latest developments in this case. Ray?
Scott, it's one of the most chilling stories in recent years on the Suncoast. 2.5 years ago, December of 2014, Avalos is accused of killing his wife, killing her friend, taking their son to daycare, dropping off his car at Walmart in eastern Manatee County, taking a taxi to US 41 and 69th Street, where he was accused of then shooting and killing the pastor of their church. We have video now of Avalos arriving in court today, a little heavier than last time we saw him. He is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. His attorneys want to have the death penalty taken off the table if he is convicted. The judge said she would not rule about that today. The judge, Dinah Moreland, also talked about the timing of jury selection for the trial that is set to begin on May the 4th.
And at this time still reserve, we'll make an attempt to get a jury in this particular case, and at that time we certainly can without prejudice.
That the retroactive application.
Among those in the courtroom today, the pastor's mother, Mrs. Battle, who initially said she would talk to us, then later said the state asked her not to comment on the case right now. So again, the top story is a judge refused to rule on a defense motion to take the death penalty off the table if Avalos gets convicted of triple murder in this heinous crime that happened 2.5 years ago here on the Suncoast. Scott, back to you in the studio.
All right, Ray, thank you so much for the update. In other news, race fans and drivers mourning the death of a local race car driver. Dave Steele died in a crash Saturday night at DeSoto Speedway in Manatee County. Sheriff's investigators say the left front wheel of Steele's race car made contact with the back wheel of another car during the race's opening lap. It caused his car to spin 180 degrees before hitting the wall. Steele died at the track.
He was definitely a fearless driver. You can watch him race from the start of the race. He would go from the back all the way to the front in just a handful of laps. Anything he was in, he always put his heart forward. Was a great race car driver, one of my favorites to watch.
At the time of the crash, the former USAC Silver Crown champion was trying to win the 100th race of his career in Florida. We'll have more on this developing story coming up at 5 p.m. A University of South Florida football player shot in an off-campus apartment complex. Safety Hassan Childs is in stable condition following that shooting. A statement from the university reveals that no one else was hurt. Police were investigating what the Tampa Bay Times reported was a road rage incident. A man telling detectives Childs pointed a gun at him, his wife, and child at the apartment complex. That's when the man pulled a gun out of his own and shot Childs in what he told police was self-defense. In other news, police in Northport still need to help finding a woman who attacked a Walmart employee. These are surveillance photos of that suspect and the man she was with. The employee told officers last week she was washing her hands in the bathroom when the woman in the photo walked out of a stall and pushed her. She also yelled she was coming with her and called her an offensive name. The victim was able to get away and call for help. Anyone with information on their whereabouts is asked to contact Northport Police. Well, there are more than water hazards at a Charlotte County golf course. Dan McNamara says he and his friend were playing over the weekend when his friend's ball landed right next to a gator. That gator was not impressed and moved over, and watch what happened. It will eat the golf ball.
I looked over and there was the gator. So I pulled out my cell phone and I started recording it. At the same time, my buddy shanks a ball over the green and it lands next to the gator.
Says the gator didn't seem fazed at all, that he just swallowed the ball. This happened Saturday at Long March Golf Course in Rotunda West. Needless to say, the golfer probably won't be getting that ball back anytime soon. I was going to check the rules of golf, John, just to see if
wondering
if this is a 2-stroke penalty, or do you get a free drop, I hope?
I would hope a free drop. Anywhere you want, far away from the alligator.
Exactly.
I'm thinking you should
More than
anyway.
2 club lengths, that's for sure.
Wouldn't it be funny if there actually was something in the rule book about that?
Yeah, there probably is. I don't know the rules that well.
animal eating the ball? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, beautiful weather out there. Of course, we're getting into alligator mating season. You'll
Yeah.
see them sunning themselves a lot. And boy, do we have a plethora of sunshine around the area today. Some fair weather cloudiness building, but the Sarasota Bay webcam put into motion since this morning shows those clouds are passing. They really don't last very long, and they're certainly not going to be weather producers. A lot of blue sky out there, boosting our temperatures once again to above average. I think above average is our new average, actually. 77 degrees, Mayaca City. Down in Northport, you've got the same. Venice at 77. A little cooler at Longboat Key now, 73 degrees. You're looking at a temperature that'll probably top out around 82 or so. And then as we head into the next several days, I think that trend will continue. Changes later on this week, though. We'll talk about that coming up in just a few. Back to you, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. Happening today, the Manatee County School Board deciding the future of a charter school. In a letter sent to the Manatee Charter School, the district said the school did not meet the guidelines for renewal and does not meet the requirements for education-based programs. But school board members deciding this morning to give the school one more year to fix those requirements so they can meet the guidelines. Lawyers for Manatee Charter are arguing the district is not following through with the process to shut it down. The school on 30th Street West is owned by Southwest Charter Foundation. More than half of the students there are minorities, and all of them qualify for free or reduced price lunch. We'll have more on the school board's decision coming up in our evening newscast. A fearless girl is going to be standing up to Wall Street just a little longer. New York City's mayor has decided to let the popular statue to stay through February of next year. Originally, it was supposed to come down this weekend. The Fearless Girl statue depicts a young girl staring down Wall Street's famous charging bull. It's meant to inspire conversations about women in leadership. That statue was installed earlier this month. Let's keep the conversation on Wall Street going. ABC 7 business commentator Richard Stern joins us now. And Richard, a tough start to a new week on Wall Street so far.
Scott, you're right, and that little girl talked about leadership, and guess what? We needed leadership today because the Dow Jones Industrial Average, really because of the fact that the Trump health care plan did not go through on Friday, but that was after the close. Well, Katie barred the door this morning. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down by as much as 182 points. That was fairly early in the day. And remember, we were down every day last week. The Dow has been down 7 consecutive days. And if we make it 8, that'll be the longest losing streak for the Dow since 2011, a record we don't have to tie if that's okay. Let's take a look at the figures as they stand right now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down by 0.5%, just over 101 points at 20,495.54 on volume of 387 million shares. The NASDAQ for the day is down 11.11, not quite 0.2% at 5,817.55. That on volume of 801 million shares. And the S&P down as well, 0.3%, just over 7 points at 2,336.52. Well, if you're in the furniture business or the appliance business, look out. A company by the name of Amazon. Familiar with them? They've done away with everybody's brick and mortar, right? Wrong. Amazon has decided that things like refrigerators and sofas, people actually want to see them and touch them. Amazon is actually going to be opening physical stores where people can come and see these kinds of items. They're also going to have virtual reality, so you can actually see what this kind of furniture might look like in your own home. Then when you decide that's what you want, guess what? You order it from Amazon, and either 1 or 2 days later, it appears at your house. So good luck to those of you in the furniture business, because competing with Amazon, as many retailers have found out, not a pleasant experience. Scott, that's going to revolutionize the furniture business if it goes as the New York Times says it might. We'll have to see.
Yeah, such a dynamic there that it's Amazon and companies like it that are shutting down these brick and mortar stores, and now Amazon may open one.
Quite an irony,
Yeah.
is it not?
Well, you'll be back at 5 with the closing numbers. We'll see how we made out today.
Yeah, we'll see if we can make up 101 points and not be down 8 days in a row. How's that?
Okay, that sounds good. Richard, we'll see you then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
New at noon, improvements at Manatee County Transit. The Bradenton Herald reporting MCAT is becoming more efficient. The county's transit manager says there's been a rise in ridership since several routes were improved and services fixed in the Palmetto and Ellington areas. MCAT's route modifications went into effect last November. Time now to get over to the kitchen and check in for the first time with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. Hi, Judy. What are you cooking for us today?
Well, hi there, Scott. I'm steaming fish, and I'm really excited because Saturday I went down to the farmer's market downtown. Hadn't been there in a little bit. My first stop is always Maggie's Seafood. It's where I want to stock up on great fresh fish. And I was talking to the owner, and he suggested, straight from the waters of Virginia, to do a striped red snapper. Now, this is a dish that you can do with sea bass, with striped snapper. It's going to be really simple, Japanese style of poaching. And my kitchen at home must be way too cluttered because I couldn't find my steamer baskets, but it's okay. I'm going to show you how to steam it in a pan. Flavorful with a little ginger, light and very healthy. I'll be back in just a few minutes to get started.
The human spirit's capacity to defy the odds, to push the envelope, is boundless.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
With Granny Nannies, they get to stay in the comfort of their own home.
It still gives them the dignity and the respect that they deserve. I do everything I can to make their lives easier.
To see them smile, to be there on their bad days as well as their good days, and be able to make their bad days a better day. It's about giving them the quality of life they deserve. I am Granny Nannies, a helping hand and a gentle heart.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee County since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
The human spirit's capacity to defy the odds, to push the envelope, is boundless.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC 7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Looking at an air temperature right now that is pretty warm, already exceeding the average for the day at 79 degrees. We have a dew point value, very comfortable, coming in at 56 degrees. That comfortable dew point value, an indication of drier air at the surface. In fact, we have drier air aloft as well, which the sun speaks to. We have wall-to-wall sunshine, only occasionally fettered with some fair weather clouds. Now, later on, I think in the afternoon, we'll have building inland clouds. That caused by something we'll talk about in just a moment. But I don't see any rain in the forecast for today. East wind comes in at about 9 miles per hour. That east wind shifting to the southeast a little bit later on. Started off southeast. It might even shift near the coastline to a kind of a westerly wind flow, directly westerly wind flow. But it's going to be a shallow sea breeze because that east wind is going to kind of push it right back to the coastline. I-75 corridor is the furthest inland it would go. 77 in Myakka, Wauchula, Arcadia, Northport, Venice coming in at 77. We have 78 degrees in Bradenton. We have 73 degrees at Longboat Key, 75 degrees in Inglewood, and 79 degrees in Punta Gorda. All in all, a beautiful afternoon with lots of sunshine. The easterly wind, you can already start to see kind of a little shift going on here along the coastline in the winds, and that caused by the beginnings of a sea breeze formation, what will eventually be a sea breeze formation. 5-mile-an-hour, 10-mile-an-hour winds is about what we expect today. Good news in terms of red tide. Last Friday, the red tide reports came out, and in the water, there is very little red tide detectable. Very low amounts. Not trace or background or non-existent, but low amounts. We have had high amounts, so it's good to see. The highest of the red tide was recorded at New Pass in the water. But perhaps even more important, Mote Marine spotters going out to the various beaches to actually sample the amounts of irritants of red tide that are in the air, which lead to respiratory distress, found none once again. Half of last week they found none. Today, again, no red tide irritants in the air at any of the beaches sampled on the day and time that they sampled them. So we love to see that. Winds offshore right now may shift a little bit onshore with a sea breeze, but don't expect it to be too strong. Radar quiet across the entire state. We have a few showers out in the Atlantic, a little bit of cloud cover out there. Not a big deal. That is not going to be an issue for us. In the Gulf waters, there's not much activity whatsoever. But back to the west, we've got some shower activity and some thunderstorm activity that is gradually drifting closer and closer to Kentucky and Tennessee. That area of disturbed weather could lead to severe weather down the road. And by severe weather, I mean large hail, gusty winds, big thunderstorms. So there could be airport delays. Memphis, Nashville could see some airport delays, maybe eventually a thunderstorm or two near the Atlanta airport as well later tonight into tomorrow. So if you're traveling to that area, just keep in mind that that could be the issue. As far as our weather goes, we'll watch that sea breeze stay far away from producing any showers right straight through the week. Now on Saturday, we will notice, I think, a chance of a shower building in some of the clouds. It's a small chance. A weak front will be moving through the front. At this time of year, they hardly have a chance of bringing much cooler air. So we're not going to see a big cool down from that front, but maybe a chance at a shower. Nighttime lows will be gradually increasing because humidity will be rising as well through the week. Scott?
All right, John, thank you so much. In health news this afternoon, a new analysis is out that challenges the long-term health benefits of what we thought we knew about breastfeeding. According to a study published in the journal Pediatrics, researchers are finding that breastfeeding has little impact on long-term cognitive development and behavior. They found children who were breastfed for 6 months or more had lower rates of hyperactivity and improved problem-solving skills at 3 years old, but those differences were insignificant by the time the child turned 5. However, health benefits like helping newborns fight infections and helping preterm infants get stronger are well established and accurate. At some point in our lives, many of us will have back pain. People often want a quick fix, but that's not always possible. Some new guidelines recommend starting with non-invasive treatments like yoga, massage, and acupuncture. A doctor at Cleveland Clinic says a little patience doesn't hurt either.
Yoga is going to require several sessions of it before your flexibility is noted. Acupuncture traditionally anywhere from 2 to 6 sessions before you start seeing some results. Massages, depending on how much and where they're doing, how long you've had the injury for.
Guidelines say most cases of lower back pain will improve over time regardless of treatment. They recommend narcotics and steroids be avoided. Anyone with new leg pain or weakness should have it addressed by a doctor sooner than later, as these often require additional treatment plans. Still to come in your Suncoast News, a dress code policy has one major airline facing some major backlash on social media. And the Final Four is set. The teams that will be facing off this weekend for the championship. We'll be right back.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
ABC 7 News at 7 weeknights.
With a top prize of $10 million, the new $10 million world-class cash scratch-off from the Florida Lottery is your ticket to take on the world. $10 million world-class cash scratch-off from the Florida Lottery. One of our life-changing scratch-offs offering billions in cash prizes.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
The world's #1 ranked golfer just keeps on winning. Over the weekend, Dustin Johnson became the first player ever to sweep the World Golf Championships by winning the match play title in Austin, Texas. His one-up victory completes a week in which he never trailed in any of his 7 matches. The WGC sweep was the 3rd straight victory for Johnson, who appears very ready to contend at next week's Masters, the first major of the year. Two games on the Suncoast today as spring training enters its final week. The Orioles are hosting the Red Sox at Ed Smith Stadium this afternoon. First pitch set at 1:05. That'll be a big crowd at the stadium. And then tonight at Lecom Park in Bradenton, the Pirates will take on the Twins in a night game. That game's set to get underway at 6:05. Well, the Florida Gators bid to make it to the Final Four ending Sunday. South Carolina coming back in the second half to beat Florida in the Elite Eight. But they aren't the only Carolina team headed now to Arizona. ABC's TJ Holmes has the story.
North Carolina and Kentucky put on a show in a back-and-forth Elite Eight thriller. With 7 seconds left on the clock, freshman Malik Monk secured the Wildcat comeback with this miracle three-pointer. But with the game now tied and seemingly headed to overtime, the Tar Heels raced down the court, and this happened. Luke May, a sophomore and former walk-on, hit the game winner with 0.3 seconds left, sending the Tar Heels to the Final Four.
I'm the guy that wanted to become as a walk-on, so how dumb am I?
That's right. The talk of college basketball this morning was only a walk-on last year. Recruited from his home state of North Carolina, he passed up scholarship offers at other schools to be a Tar Heel. May usually comes off the bench and averages 14 minutes and just 5.5 points a game.
And I just kind of stepped back and gave me the ball, and I just shot it, and luckily it went in.
In Sunday's other matchup, the unlikely belle of the ball, 7th-seeded South Carolina. The Gamecocks advanced to their first ever Final Four, knocking out the Florida Gators in Madison Square Garden. After knocking out Duke and Baylor, the Gamecocks made it a 3rd straight upset. It was defense that powered their unlikely run to the Final Four. Also headed to their first ever Final Four, top-seeded Gonzaga, and the Oregon Ducks, who haven't made it this far since 1939.
Final Four gets underway Saturday, and then the championship game a week from tonight. Let's get back to the kitchen now, see how lunch is coming along with Chef Judy. Hi, Judy.
Hey there. So we're going to take our fish that we picked up at Maggie's Seafood. We're going to add it into our poaching liquid. I have about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of hot water, and in there I have soy sauce, a little chili oil, and that's going to give it just a little pop because this is really a bit of an oily fish, and getting that, just that little buzz is going to be good on the spice. Then a little sesame oil. So we're going to poach that with some scallions, and I just split the scallions to really let that flavor come out, give it a little onion. Then I have some Malaysian ginger powder that I got over at the St. Armand's Spice and Tea store. And we're going to poach this about about 5 minutes on the first side, and then we'll keep bathing it, okay? We'll just keep doing this, bathing it. You can see where the skin is starting to curl up right now. We're going to bathe it more with the skin up for about, 4 to 5 minutes. Then we'll turn it over, and that will give the meatiness side, we'll give it a little more. Now, I've already toasted some sesame seeds. We're going to be working with roasted beets because Warden Farms also at the farmers market has the most amazing fresh organic beets. They have white, rainbow, the traditional that you know of that purpley red color, and orange. But what's important is to save those greens. I always have a stack in my fridge to put in a smoothie. The darker the green, the better. But we're going to actually use these as well. Toss them in a little sesame oil and salt and pepper, and this is going to add a little flavor. So when we come back, I'm going to show you, I already have roasted beets ready. We're going to make a roasted beet salad, toasted sesame seeds, and bring it all together for a simple, very light dish that I think you're going to really enjoy, thanks to our downtown farmers market.
The Sarasota Film Festival is March 31st through April 9th, featuring independent films from around the world, panels, parties, and conversations with stars, all happening in downtown Sarasota.
You don't want to miss it, so get your festival guide and choose the films and events you want to attend. Buy your tickets online, by phone, or at the Hollywood 20 box office. They go fast, so get them now.
So join us to see and be seen.
A unique celebration of a distinctive cultural gem in Sarasota. La Musica, the annual international festival of chamber music, with renowned musicians from 4 continents. April 3rd through April 12th at the Sarasota Opera House and at Sainer Pavilion. Buy your tickets now.
The Sarasota Film Festival is March 31st through April 9th, featuring independent films from around the world, panels, parties, and conversations with stars, all happening in downtown Sarasota.
You don't want to miss it, so get your festival guide and choose the films and events you want to attend. Buy your tickets online, by phone, or at the Hollywood 20 box office. They go fast, so get them now.
So join us to see and be seen.
You can do something about a crime, any crime, and you can receive a reward of up to $3,000 cash. Call Crime Stoppers with information about criminal activity, unsolved crimes, drug dealers, fugitive criminals, stolen property, illegal weapons. Call 366-TIPS. You will remain anonymous. Visit SarasotaCrimeStoppers.com. Download the Crime Stoppers P3 mobile app from the Apple iTunes Store or Google Play. Call Crime Stoppers 366-TIPS. Paid for by the Attorney General's Office, Crime Stoppers Trust Fund.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-962-4112. That's 1-800-962-4112. Call now, 1-800-962-4112. For a free brochure, call 1-800-962-4112.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Our top story this half hour, the family of an American killed in last week's terror attack in London holding a press conference this morning. Kurt Cochran of Utah was among 5 people killed in that attack. His wife was injured and she remains in the hospital. ABC's Molly Hunter has more.
It was the final day of their anniversary trip. 25 years of marriage ended last week. And today, their family speaking out.
We did know that there was a terrorist attack. We did not know our loved ones were involved. And then we got online and looked and realized that that was our loved ones. And so that's how we found out.
Kirk Cochran, 52-year-old from Utah, killed when Khalid Massoud plowed down pedestrians on the Westminster Bridge. Before going on to stab a police officer, Massoud was then shot dead only after killing 4 people. Kurt's wife, Melissa, 46, now recovering in the hospital with a broken leg and a broken rib.
She's recovering very well, and we're just so pleased with the progress that she has made in this last few days.
12 relatives traveled to London, speaking here at New Scotland Yard, thanking the paramedics, the medical personnel, and those who have helped.
So many people have been so kind, and we are deeply touched by their goodness and generosity.
The couple was visiting Melissa's parents, who are serving as missionaries in the London Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They said they'll travel back to the U.S. with their daughter when she's recovered.
This has been a humbling and difficult experience, but we felt the love of so many people during these past several days.
This was Kurt's first trip overseas, and his family says he was absolutely loving it and couldn't wait to get home to upload all those photos. Molly Hunter, ABC News, London.
British police still have 2 people in custody. A 30-year-old man was arrested yesterday, and a 58-year-old man was arrested shortly after the attack. Closer to home, police are looking for those responsible for killing 1 man and injuring 15 others at a Cincinnati nightclub. This happened early Sunday morning. Police say somehow multiple people smuggled in guns and then opened fire in the club.
My understanding is they literally have to step over some victims to get to more critically wounded victims. You're a little bit lost for words, lost for emotions.
Police say there have been similar incidents at this location in the past, but are calling this one the worst. They're now trying to figure out what started the deadly gunfight and who is to blame. Police are investigating a series of shootings in Central Florida. The first one was reported at a home in Sanford this morning, where 4 people were shot following what appears to be a domestic violence incident. 1 person died at that scene, and at least 2 of the victims were children. An officer then heard shots at a second location and was able to capture the suspect. The shooting remains under investigation. Ski lessons in Japan take a tragic turn when an avalanche strikes. More than 50 students and 10 teachers got caught in the snow. At least 8 students are feared dead and 6 are hurt. The students were being trained in mountain climbing at a ski resort near Tokyo when that happened. The snow and ice has melted at Niagara Falls, and the tours have begun again at the famous site. The Maid of the Mist tour boats getting ready to open their season this weekend. It's slated to be the earliest launch ever there. The boats bring passengers from the New York shore to the base of the falls in the lower Niagara River. A similar tour launches from the Canadian side as well. The early opening comes after a winter that saw less ice form on Lake Erie, which flows into the Niagara River at Buffalo. The season will run through early November. Ever do that, John? Take the Maid of the Mist?
I don't recall. It's been a long, long time since I've been to Niagara Falls. I was a kid. I don't recall taking the boat, but I remember walking back behind the falls.
Yeah, that's a neat one, too.
That was very impressive. And I remember the colors, how it was all lit up. Of course, now I'm sure they have LEDs and everything else going on and computer operated and whatever, but it was spectacularly beautiful.
Anywhere you go to see the falls, from whatever vantage point, it's
amazing how much water moves over those
Yeah,
falls,
exactly.
how quickly. A beautiful, beautiful sight. It's beautiful around here today. Heck, we're looking at lots of sunshine and fair weather clouds. Now, this is looking out in Myakka. Check it out. Only a few clouds from time to time moving across the skyline. And none of those have any loft, none of them building into anything that'll be rain producing. I think we'll probably see more cloudiness in inland areas than we will in our area, because a general easterly wind will carry that east coast sea breeze all the way into areas of Myakka later in the day. 78's pretty popular, 79's across the region. Will probably everyone see 80s today. I think 82 or 3 will be the daytime high. And the rain chance today it doesn't exist. We'll be looking for that to change perhaps later in the week. And we'll talk about that coming up in a few. Scott?
John, thank you. United Airlines dealing with a different kind of turbulence after 2 teenage girls had to change clothes before boarding a flight. A United spokesman says the girls were barred by a gate agent Sunday morning for wearing leggings. The girls were traveling under an employee travel pass that allows employees, relatives, and friends to fly for free or at heavily discounted prices. But that policy also includes a dress code, and the code bars past travelers from wearing spandex or lycra pants such as leggings. The incident is receiving heavy criticism.
Why should they be banned? That's crazy. I don't agree with that at all.
I think that if you're flying on a friends and family pass and you know that they have certain rules, that you should abide by those rules.
United Airlines got a lot of backlash about this on social media. Many were disappointed in how the airline handled it, but the teenagers agreed to change their clothes. The family was still able to travel on a later flight using those passes. New at noon, North Carolina's bathroom bill is expected to cost the state billions in lost business. According to a report by the Associated Press, the controversial law will cost the state more than $3.76 billion in lost business. That cost includes canceled sporting events, concerts, and conventions. The law limits LGBT protection, including which bathroom a transgendered person can use. A new week begins in Washington following the failure of the Republican health care bill. President Trump now switching gears from blaming Democrats to blaming the conservative members of his own party. The president tweeting, quote, "Democrats are smiling in D.C. that the Freedom Caucus, with the help of Club for Growth and Heritage, have saved Planned Parenthood and O-Care." And as the president plots his future agenda, some analysts are questioning whether the health care defeat will open up the White House to a new strategy.
Gives Trump a chance, I believe, to become the transformational president that he wanted to be. Because the only way out of this is to find a way to work with Democrats. There is no longer a Republican working governing majority.
Top House Democrat Nancy Pelosi says there is room for bipartisanship. Meanwhile, the president is focusing on an area in which he is most comfortable with today, and that's business. He's announcing the new White House Office of American Innovation, where his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, will lead the team. The office will be aimed at fixing government with business ideas. New this afternoon, Russian authorities arrested hundreds of people in anti-corruption protests over the weekend. The unrest comes just days after a prominent Kremlin critic was shot dead in broad daylight right outside of a hotel in Kiev. The U.S. State Department was forced to weigh in. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has more.
Mass protests breaking out across Russia. Tens of thousands of protesters marching in multiple cities. It's the biggest protest in the country in at least 5 years. Demonstrators accusing President Vladimir Putin's government of widespread corruption. Some protesters holding caricatures of Putin and Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev wearing jail uniforms. But a crackdown on the rallies came quick. More than 1,000 were arrested on Sunday, including protest organizer and leading Putin critic Alexei Navalny. Navalny was sentenced today to 15 days in jail by a Moscow court after being arrested yesterday for resisting police orders during one of the marches. After an initial no comment and some criticism from U.S. lawmakers, the State Department has given ABC News this statement from acting spokesperson Mark Toner. The United States strongly condemns the detention of hundreds of peaceful protesters throughout Russia on Sunday.
Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who organized these protests, he says he plans to run in the 2018 presidential race against Vladimir Putin. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, New York.
Here at home, political protests are becoming more and more common, and the local chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union is offering tips on getting voices heard. The ACLU helping people make the change they want to see by offering training on how to influence lawmakers at local town hall meetings and protests. The vice president of the ACLU adds protecting free speech is also important. The group has trained legal observers that ensure demonstrators are peacefully expressing themselves.
Popular speech doesn't need any protection. Unpopular speech does. So the right to protest is sacred under our Constitution.
The ACLU says membership has also tripled since the presidential election, now with 3,600 members. Happening tonight, the Venice Performing Arts Center will be filled with music for the Venice Concert Band Spring Performance. This is the kickoff for several concerts there. The band is made up of both amateur and professional musicians from all ages and backgrounds. Doors for tonight's concert will open at 6:15, with the concert underway at 7. All of the concerts take place at the Venice Performing Arts Center on the campus of Venice High School on Indian Avenue. Back to the kitchen now and see how lunch is coming along with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. It sure smells good, Judy.
Well, thanks, Scott. What's really fun about this dish is we can save the poaching liquid and the leftover fish and add ingredients, and we can have a beautiful, bright fish soup the next day. We'll probably add a little seafood stock just to give it that bump. But now I want to get to the beets, okay? So over at Warden Farms, such beautiful beets. Now you can either wrap them in aluminum foil, or recently I've been reading that that may not be the best way because the sugars from the beets burst into the aluminum and that metal can mix together. So I tried another way that I read of just piercing them at a teeny bit of oil and roasting it in the oven on parchment paper on a pan, and that seems to do the trick. You'll roast them less though because they'll get a little soft. So here I have a variety of rainbow and different colors. I'm going to do a splash of toasted sesame oil, and I have some ginger rice wine vinegar. Regular wine vinegar is just fine as well, and we'll give that a little dab. Now, even though beets have sugar, I'm going to add a little bit more sugar, and I have some coconut sugar. Again, one of my favorite little tricks from the Spice and Tea Exchange. So let's just toss this together and give it a taste. This is going to bring some bright color to the plate as well, and just a nice accompaniment. We really have it. Well, this sits for about 10 minutes to bring out those bright, lovely flavors, but holds the integrity of the sweet beets. Let's take some more of the beet greens, add it to this broth that is then going to become our soup. I'm going to serve this on a bed of jasmine rice. So let's put a little rice in our soup. And like I said, at the store, you can buy some fish bouillon, and that will bring out a bright flavor. But look at this, we already have another meal that's ready for lunch. So let's walk over to this side. I have the fish already poached. You know, this is such a beautiful fish that you can actually just broil it as well, but we of course steamed it. Now we're going to put the beets right there in the plate, and these beets are going to last 3 days in the refrigerator, so you have plenty of other options. And voila, we have a healthy, light dinner thanks to Maggie Seafood and Warden Farms down at the Farmers Market. I'll be back in just a few minutes for a taste and tell you about our gift card contest.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Being the caregiver for someone you love is truly a blessing. But sometimes you can lose a part of yourself. To be your best, for them and for you, it's important to have time to be able to recharge your batteries. When you call Tidewell Hospice, they can give you a chance to do just that. And with the peace of mind of knowing your loved one is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Since 1928, Karastan has been setting the standard in carpets and rugs, producing non-allergenic wools that won't promote the growth of bacteria or dust mites like other carpets will. Karastan wools actively remove contaminants from the indoor air, making your home healthier. And there are many colors and patterns and textures to choose from. Come see for yourself.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
The Lax coming to the White Buffalo Saloon April 1st. Visit the WBSaloon.com.
Currently, we're closing in on that 80-degree mark. We're at 79 right now. A lot of sunshine out there, just peppered with a few fair weather clouds. No issues in terms of rainfall, though. Temperature, dew point temperature, rather, is coming in at 56, which means the air is so very dry. Still, it feels comfortable in the afternoons, despite the fact that we do have abnormally warm temperatures coming in the low 80s today. That dew point value is going to make it feel just fine. We'll look for a wind that's out of the east at about 9. Light enough a sea breeze will build, but it'll be a kind of a shallow sea breeze, and it won't make it much more beyond the I-75 corridor. We'll see a few fair weather clouds building and a few scattered showers over on the Atlantic side. Maybe even a few of these Atlantic showers making it right onto the coastline. So, you know, Kennedy's anywhere from really Jacksonville down to Lake Worth or Lauderdale may see a scattered shower over on the other coast. For us, nope, we're dry. Over in the Gulf waters, we're not even seeing much in the way of clouds building. Now, earlier on, we had some cloudiness, high cloudiness, kind of move on past us from shower and thunderstorm activity back to the west. That's where a frontal boundary is carving its way through the deep south and producing the potential for some severe weather. Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, maybe parts of as far east as Atlanta, Georgia over the next 24 to 36 hours. Might have a few thunderstorms around there as well. But the severe weather threat itself is kind of bullseyed into areas of western Kentucky and Tennessee. So our area is under the influence of this big high pressure ridge, providing us with a nice southeasterly wind flow, maybe even switching a little more southerly with time. That's going to pump the humidity and moisture back, and a slow increase in those dew point values will happen as we head into probably Thursday and Friday. You'll start to see the dew point values becoming slightly more noticeable. I won't say slightly uncomfortable. Some people like it humid. So, you know, you'll definitely notice an increase in the humidity. That high pressure ridge keeps us rain free, though, for the next several days. So sunny skies to start this week. We'll have dry weather with only perhaps a little patchy morning fog over the next several mornings. And then higher humidity by the end of the week. Those are the weather highlights carry into the next several days. There's your bullseye of severe weather that I was mentioning, from Kentucky really down to parts of the northern Gulf Coast might see the chance of some severe weather. The RPM computer model put into motion shows those clouds coming at us, kind of a building line each day of showers in the spine of the state caused by those colliding sea breezes east and west, kind of meeting up and gradually retreating back toward the east. Now, the thing is, because of our lack of rainfall, and we're down about 5.5 inches for the year, our area in particular has a pretty high risk of wildfires starting and needing some sort of professional assistance to have them extinguished. So let's be careful with our outdoor burning, and with pay attention to when the red flags are being issued. And it's a dangerous situation, getting more and more dangerous the longer we stay without rainfall. We'll have, by the end of the week, about a 20% chance of a maybe brief shower on Saturday as a weak front limps through, but don't expect it to lower our temperatures all that much. Scott?
John, thank you. New at noon, a Tampa Bay area beach is named one of the top pet-friendly beaches in America. Travel site BringFido.com releasing its list of the top 10 pet-friendly beaches in the country. And the only Florida beach making the list was Fort DeSoto Park in St. Petersburg. The website says its large fenced areas and paw playground make it an ideal place for dogs to play. And there's even one spot on the beach where they're allowed to run without a leash. And a woman is giving new life to one special puppy. Teddy was born without feet. Instead, the puppy had stubs for feet and no pads on his front paws. Barbara Bradley is his owner. She rescued Teddy when he was only 10 weeks old. Although the Boston Terrier had plenty of energy, lack of feet started to cause calluses on his front paws. So to help, Bradley had 2 prosthetic front paws made for him. They now help Teddy do everything he likes to enjoy outside.
He doesn't even know there's anything different about him. He just walks along like a normal dog. He was supposed to be a temporary foster for me, but I took one look at him when I first got him, and I decided he was not going to any other foster, and I just fell in love with him.
That's a happy dog. Teddy's prosthetic legs were not cheap. They cost about $2,900. But Bradley says she hopes to protect many more animals in need in the future. Coming up next, we'll take you to a star-studded birthday party for one famous singer. And what movie managed to stay on top of the box office this weekend? Not a big surprise. It's all in entertainment news next.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
It's already time to plan for summer, especially if you're sending the kids to camp. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, the Sarasota Moms blog shows us summer camp options right here on the Suncoast. We sit down with the Sarasota film director to hear about her new project coming at the Sarasota Film Festival. Plus, we get ready for whiskey obsession, and Blue Mangrove joins us in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind Your Meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Our community has its struggles. The fact is, people have less than they did just a few years ago, and sadly, the need becomes more profound every day. Season of Sharing provides funds to help individuals and families in need, ensuring they will not end up homeless and without a roof over their heads. Together, providing a helping hand and making a difference. Season of Sharing. Give today at cfsarasota.org.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters, gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
I'm Alan Cohn. Who will work the field? Suncoast agriculture depends on migrant workers. Find out why farms are short-handed this year.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-962-4112. That's 1-800-962-4112. Call now, 1-800-962-4112. For a free brochure, call 1-800-962-4112.
Hi, everyone.
We're
back.
Talking beets.
We are talking beets.
We're always talking food.
It's true. One of my favorite vegetables, beets, and I'll tell you what you've done with them here, just absolutely fantastic, Judy. What a great dish.
Well, thank you.
Healthy
Light.
too, right?
Well, that's the thing. It's like down at Maggie's Seafood, I always love, I kind of let him decide which fish he's going to give me. He said a simple broil or a poach, and I'm excited, John, because now we have a second, exactly, we have a second soup, and of course that delicious beet salad, roasted the beets, a little bit of coconut sugar, just a pinch, some ginger, oil and vinegar in it, and that makes for a nice salad, and it's going to be really light, right? You like that?
That is delicious.
Good. Now remember, you can get this recipe on mysuncoast.com. Simply click on the video and the recipes. They'll be up shortly. And remember, every week we have the contest to win a $50 gift card from one of our wonderful restaurant partners on the dining page. So click, 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 and back to Scott.
Good deal.
Thank you, Judy and John. At the box office this weekend, the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast waltzed past the $500 million mark, taking in $88 million, more than enough to put it back into first place. Power Rangers morphed into second place with an estimated $40.5 million. And Kong, Skull Island came in third with just more than $14 million in ticket sales. Elton John's 70th birthday party, a star-studded bash. Stevie Wonder led the crowd in singing Happy Birthday to Sir John. And then Lady Gaga serenaded him with her hit Born This Way. Even the birthday boy himself was singing and dancing at the party as well. That was one you want a ticket to, huh?
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Although I did see Beauty and the Beast, my wife and I, over the weekend.
Yeah?
It was fantastic.
That's what I've heard. My daughter saw it too. She
I'm
loved it.
taking the nephews next weekend, so I'm excited because everybody has been saying that. It's
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah, it
Good.
is fabulous. I'd never seen the other one, so they were so popular, the various incarnations of them over the years. But this one's definitely top notch.
Cool. Good to know.
Excited.
That's
Top-notch weather. Huh?
That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no complaints over the next couple of days. Low relative humidity. Temperatures are going to be mild. A lot of sunshine. No rain. We could use some rain, though.
We sure could. Thank you, Judy. Thank you,
Thank
John.
you.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a great day ahead.